It's TAS in the kitchen. I am so glad to see everyone today. And I have been in the kitchen cooking basically all morning. And so I want to show you what I've been up to. I know it's the Easter weekend, and so a lot of people have been trying to figure out, are they going to have turkey? Are they going to have ham? What exactly are they going to have? And so let me get this out of our way. Now, you know, I just can't do all these different things at the same time. I've got a friend that does all these little different things with the live at the same time, and I just cannot. But I do thank Instagram for giving me all these options, but I cannot do all these different things at the same time. So we're going to hope that everything is working well as I get all these little different messages on my screen. So we're going to move forward. So we're going to keep our fingers crossed that my live is actually being broadcast to everybody, because it's a whole lot of little things that you could be doing with the live, but I just am not going to be able to do that and cook too. So I see that Cyrus Webb has joined me. Now I tell you, if Cyrus Webb and I were in the same space, he could be managing all of these different things that are popping up on my live. Anyway, I was trying to wave at Cyrus, but I don't think I waved at him. But hi, Cyrus. Anyway, so as I was saying, I've been in the kitchen all day cooking. I just grilled my Cornish hen because I wanted to have one ready. But I'm going to show you how I put it together. But the first thing I want to do is make sure my eye is on, which it is, but I want my Brussels sprouts that we're going to make, I want them to rest, and then I'll tell you how I did the Cornish hen. So I was trying to figure out, what am I going to have for this holiday weekend? Is it going to be ham, which, you know, I don't eat a lot of pork, but I will eat ham sometime. I'm not going to lie to you. Is it going to be turkey? I love turkey. Or is it going to be something else? I thought about lamb. I just did lamb chops, and I love lamb chops. And then I thought, well, why not do a Cornish hen? A Cornish hen is much smaller than a turkey. And since I eat small amounts of food, I thought a Cornish hen would just be ideal. So I thought it would be ideal. So what I've done is I've got a Cornish hen that's just gotten ready, but I've got this eye on. So I'm going to put some oil in my skillet. I wanted to also, and I'm probably putting about a tablespoon, but I'm going to post the recipe, so I'm not even going to try to tell you what I'm putting in. I'm just going to post it for you. I wanted a vegetable, and I wanted maybe something a little different with my vegetable, so I decided, now really it was decided for me, because you know me, whatever's in the kitchen or whatever's in the fridge is what we're going to have. And so I happened to have a bag of Brussels sprouts that had been there for about 2 weeks, and I thought, well, if you don't use these Brussels sprouts, you know what's going to happen. They're going to go bad on you. So I'm going to, what I did was I took my Brussels sprouts and I cut them in half. I trimmed them, cut them in half. This is not quite hot yet, but we don't hear it sizzling, but I'm going to lay these Brussels sprouts in here. That's better for me to lay them in. And so I wanted different, you know, sometimes I've seen recipes with bacon. Oh, the sizzlings are coming now. So that means I got to move faster. So I didn't want to use any bacon or anything like that. And I really like to add red wine vinegar to my vegetables. Those that I sort of saute like this. And so what I decided to do was I was going to take my Brussels sprouts and I was going to sort of cook them the way that I cook my greens, when I just sort of saute them and put a little onion, a little red wine vinegar. So, and I've got more Brussels sprouts than my skillet will allow. So what I've done is I've taken the Brussels sprouts, I put them in the skillet, so now they're popping, which is good. And so I put them the side down where I cut so that it would lay flat in my skillet. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my red wine vinegar ready. I want these Brussels sprouts to sort of sit for maybe about 5 or 6 minutes. I want them to get a little crunchy, but then we're going to let them get salty. But I want them to get a little crunchy. So we're going to be using red wine vinegar. I also am going to be putting some sunflower seeds. These are already roasted sunflower seeds. You know I got to have a slight crunch. So we're going to do that at the end. Also, We're going to be using some kosher salt, and I've also got maybe about a teaspoon of kosher salt and a half a teaspoon of black pepper that we're going to add to the Brussels sprouts. Okay? So let me tell you about my Cornish hens. Let me get one. So what I did was I took my Cornish hen, and so I butterflied it. We're just going to make sure these Brussels sprouts are doing what they need to do. Oh yeah. And so I butterflied mine. I don't think I have enough oil in my skillet, so I'm going to pour a little oil here so they won't burn on me. I'm going to turn that down. So I butterflied my Cornish hen. And so I did this yesterday, but I just took a knife, kitchen scissors rather, and I just cut up through the breastbone. And so I put salt on both sides of it, put it in a Ziploc bag, and I threw it in the fridge. So I wanted to make sure the salt flavor got in there. So then what I did earlier was I took the two out, I dried them with the paper towel, then I put some olive oil on the skin side, and then I sprinkled the TAS seasoning. And this is my seasoning here. This is TAS seasoning. I've added a whole lot of different things in there because it's just based upon how I was feeling. And so I thought these are the things that you like all the time, so why not mix them together? So I took my TAS seasoning and I put it on the inside of the Cornish hen, and then on the outside. Then I took my trusty Ninja Foodi Grill. And so I put my Cornish hen in the grill. And I put the skin side down first. And it was probably in, I think it was about 15 minutes. And then I flipped it, and so it was in maybe about 10. I'm gonna time myself because I'm gonna have to cook this other one. But I just want to show you, it's ready. If it's 165 degrees, that means that the chicken or the poultry is done. Well, this one went up to 180, and I said, oh my gosh, you don't want to fry my Cornish hen. But just to show you what it's looking like, you know, we're going to taste it, but you can see it. And it's ready, so I'm just letting it sit there and rest. Okay, now let us see how these Brussels sprouts are coming. Oh yeah, they're getting a little brown there. Now you know, those that know me, I do not like dark food. Now one of these has gotten a little too dark for me, but that's okay. That's okay. That'll keep me chewing well. It's a private joke. So I'm turning these Brussels sprouts over. Hopefully you can see that they're getting brown. We're going to let them continue to brown out. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to sprinkle the well, I think I'm going to have to sprinkle it this way. The kosher salt and the black pepper. Black pepper will get you. And let me say this, you know I'm from the South. This is not going to be a soft vegetable dish. It is not. So let me just tell you that. I don't want you to feel bad about it. When you try this at home, this is not going to be soft. This is going to be a little crunchy. So I didn't overcook them now, you know. But that's okay. Some things I want to be soft, but this is not going to be soft. So I can just tell you that now. It's going to be a toss between cooked and almost having a salad. But it's going to be done regardless, because I could just have these as a salad. So we're going to let that continue. Alrighty. You're going to say she's going back for the oil? Yes, because they are sauteing and I don't want them to get too, I don't want them to get too burnt. That's the way I'm going to phrase it. And of course I'm using extra virgin olive oil, so it's a healthy oil. a healthy fat, and we do need that also. Now let me tell you what else we've got cooking here. I wanted a carb, but I really don't eat a lot of carbs, but I can eat rice. And when I eat rice, it's brown rice. And so I use, since it's just me, I use the pre-cooked brown rice. I'll tell you, before I didn't have a taste for it, but now I like it. And I have, just the regular, but, for the little bit that I eat, the bag is much better for me to cook. So I've got my pre-cooked brown rice. And I will tell you, you're going to look at this and say, she overcooked it. I made it softer for me because it's easier for me to digest. And so I've got the brown rice. I put minced onions in there. I put some garlic. I did sun-dried tomatoes. And I chopped those up and added those to the rice mixture. I took a lemon, the zest of one lemon, put that in there, and I took half of a lemon juice. So I think my recipe says a teaspoon, but I took half of a very small lemon and I squeezed the juice in. Used a little oregano and salt, and I use light country crop. That's the margarine that I use. So I use that in there. I'm trying to think. Oh, I'm going to be honest, guys, because I am honest. I tasted it, and it was just a little too bright for me. I'm going to call it bright. Now, some people say, was it a little too acidic for you? It was. It was just a little too acidic for me. And, of course, I put salt and pepper in there. But it was a little too acidic. Oh, these are coming along well now. Oh, I like this. They're coming along. And the smaller ones are actually getting sort of tender on the inside. So, it was a little too acidic for me. So, what I did was, I'm a country girl. I went back and I said, what do you have in your pantry? So I went in my pantry. Oh, I forgot to tell you something. It was not close by. That's the reason I forgot to tell you. I cooked the rice according to the package instructions, but I also used, in the water, I put my Better Than Bouillon. This one just happened to be the turkey base because I didn't have a jar of chicken open. And I used that in the water because, again, I'm trying to layer flavor. And so I put that in there to give me some flavor. Well, like I said, it was still a little too acidic for me. So, whether you call it a hack or you just got to make it work. I went into the pantry and I said, now what do you have that will cut that acidic flavor for you? And so I said I needed some sweetness. Well, I grabbed a few raisins. And I had some liquid left over. So I added the raisins to the rice. So we've got sun-dried tomatoes, we've got raisins, I got the lemon zest, I got the lemon juice, I got onion, I got garlic, and oregano. So I don't know what this tastes like now because, of course, I had to let the flavors kind of meld together. So hopefully it's going to taste good. And if it don't, I'm going to tell you the truth. It don't taste good because that means I got to go back to the drawing board. So we're going to, now I'm going to add my red wine vinegar. Now it's probably, it makes me think about when you're doing flambe, a baked Alaskan and something goes, woo! Well, this is going sizzle, sizzle. It's sizzling. Now somebody might say, not that you can hear me over the sizzle. You might say, well, why did you not pull this off the eye originally and you put your vinegar in? Well, let me be honest. I'm not one of those persons who really likes vinegar on their vegetables. I never grew up liking that. Some folks like to add vinegar to their greens. I don't. So I really don't want much of the vinegar flavor. I just want the hint of it. I just want that hint. I don't want much of it. Because sometimes it can be a bit overpowering. So I just want a taste of it. So now what I'm going to do is take my sunflower seeds, just so I can have a crunch. And of course that crunch is more protein. Brussels sprouts have protein. I think it's between 3 and 6 grams of protein. So when you add the sunflower seeds, I've just layered flavor, but I've also layered protein. So that's a win-win for me. Now we're gonna let this kind of mold together. You know how I like things to kind of meld together. Now I'm gonna do something in reverse, okay? Because we're gonna let this kind of mold together before I start working on the Cornish hen. Oh God, I got so many things to show you. Well, I was baking a cake. I was gonna bake it yesterday. Time got away from me. So I baked it this morning. But, you know it had to be sugar-free. So I like the Pillsbury sugar-free premium cake mix. It's the yellow classic. So I baked this cake this morning. Now, you know, I don't normally give all my secrets away, but I did, you know, make it taste a little better. I hope. I haven't tasted it yet. I added a little vanilla flavor, and then I like almond flavoring, so I said, well, why don't you just add some almond flavoring? Because most likely you're going to be the only person eating this sugar-free cake, which means I'm going to be freezing some and taking home to my family, because there's no way I can eat this whole cake, because I'm going to show you the cake. But I used the Pillsbury sugar-free, and then, of course, I like the Birch Benders chocolate frosting. Now, you know I'm not big on chocolate, but this is not an overwhelming chocolate flavor. It's light. Even when you frosting the cake, it's light. It's almost, it's not milk chocolate, but it gives me the impression of milk chocolate. So it's a nice, I like it. It's nice icing. So that's what I did. Now, I got to show you the cake. So when I said there's no way I could eat all this cake, you see what I'm saying? It is no way that I could eat all of this cake. But I could have done cupcakes, but that would have been harder to freeze because, believe it or not, I have no freezer space because I'm always freezing everything that I bake or that I cook. But you see how nice this icing look? It kind of reminds you of milk chocolate. Well, I got to show you my slice of cake. And like I said, we're going to do it in reverse. I got to show you my slice of cake. Here's my slice of cake right there. So while we're letting all this mold, we're going to see what this cake tastes like. And you see it's nice and still yellow because I was afraid I didn't have clear vanilla flavor. And I thought, oh my God, it may change the color of my cake, but it's still yellow. It's good. And I like the icing. It's real good. It's not too chocolatey because I really don't like chocolate, but I like the Snickers bar. So satisfying. But this is good. And I just tasted the almond flavoring. But this is what I did with that cake mix. Well, no, I'm not going to show you that yet because I do want to eat some. So I'm not going to show you that yet. So while all of this is molding here, we're going to pull out the knife. And I'm going to, which I normally would not do, but we're going to do it very gently here in my Ninja. We're going to cut this. Oops, you hear it? That means I hit something. We're going to cut. Oh, it's cutting. We're going to cut the chicken. Did I say chicken? Oh, someone else just said chicken to me, and I yelled back to them, Cornish hen. Now they got me doing this. I'm going to blame it on them. Blame it on them. So here is the Cornish hen. Well, what I'm going to do now is, everything's hot. Because that eye is hot. We're going to put that there. Now I got that nice flavor of that cake in my mouth. Oh, people that want to have their dessert first. Isn't that awful? Now, this may be a little sticky for somebody else, but it's fine for me because one, I would never be eating this much rice at one time because I can't eat that much food at one time. But I wanted my rice softer because that way I don't have to chew 1,000 spikes in order to get it down. So, we've got our Brussels sprouts, we've got our rice, and we've got our Cornish hen, and we've got our sunflower seeds. So this is what I have cooked. Now I gotta add one other thing that I wanted to take a bite of, but I knew I shouldn't have. You know, you have to have something to decorate the plate. Well, it is Easter, and I thought about the Easter egg hunts, and then I thought, maybe I should make a deviled egg, and I did, and that was not part of the plan, but I wanted a deviled egg. So now we see what I've got here. So I got to taste everything, because I haven't even tasted the deviled egg, so I got to taste the deviled egg too. So let us take a plate and a knife. We're going to see what this Cornish hen is tasting like. Oh, yeah, it's looking good. And because a Cornish hen is so small, it doesn't require a lengthy time cooking. Because it's very easy to overcook the hen. Let's put that there. Let's see if this hen tastes good. So there we go. Or when the little piece of the meat touched my tongue, I knew it was a winner then. It's good. This is going to be good because I'm going to be eating this tomorrow. It's tender. I know I should be eating it. Well, I can't even get a little piece of skin to eat because my mother's like, why do you eat that skin? Because I need to taste the spices. That TAS seasoning is good. That's wonderful. Let me try some rice. Got a little sun-dried tomato. Got a raisin. Now we're right. I can still taste that lemon. So when I write this recipe up, I'm going to say just a little lemon zest. Because I have this lemon zest that is really potent that's coming through. The raisin helped cut it some, but I still taste that lemon zest. And I guess, when you're using real ingredients, meaning it's all natural, it's potent. But it's still good. It's still good. I like it. Now, this is going to be too much right here. I'm trying to break this look. Well, it's my plate, so I can take a bite and let it fall back. Come back. The Brussels sprouts are good. This is a small one. Got my crunch. It's good. I like this. Now I'm going to try to get a little sunflower because I didn't have any sunflower seed. This is why I cook my rice a long time. Well, you see, I'm just chewing. Let's see. I like sunflower seeds. You can use sunflower seeds. You could do walnuts. You could do pine nuts. You could do pecans. Whatever nut that you like. You're just adding a crunch. Just a different texture there. Now, I'm saving the best for last. Anybody that knows me knows I like my deviled eggs. And I'm clearing the palate. Trying to make sure there's nothing else in my mouth. Give me a second. Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. I love my deviled eggs. So, I'm having Cornish hen, my brown rice with tomatoes, sun-dried tomatoes, and raisins. My Brussels sprouts that are not soft. I'm still a Southern girl. Don't you guys take my Southern girl card. I'm still Southern. And then I've got my deviled eggs. This is what I am cooking this weekend. And of course, I did that sugar-free cake, which is good too. So I hope that you guys are having a wonderful Easter weekend, whether you celebrate the holiday or it's just a time for you guys to come together with your families. Family is so important. So, as I always say, take care of you so that you can take care of someone else. This has been TAS in the Kitchen. Bye now.